welcome to Sick Fun, the show where we discuss all the messed up stuff that humanity has to offer. I'm your host Andrew, and so let's not waste any more time. Today we're talking about The Green Elephant, a 1999 art house exploitation horror movie that smells exactly how it looks. And surprise surprise, it was directed by a Russian filmmaker, Svetlana Boskova. Yes, a normal looking woman. But don't let that discourage you kids, because you'll definitely want to take a shower after watching this movie. It's vulgar, it's gross, and it was even banned in Russia and Belarus. So that's how you know it's good. But what is it about? Well, The Green Elephant is about two junior Soviet officers that are imprisoned in a dirty military prison cell. Sounds simple, right? Like, not even that much is clear really. I had to look up Wikipedia to confirm some of the story elements, because the film is very avant-garde in its storytelling and doesn't explain much beyond what's shown on screen. Even calling it a plot is generous to say the least. Imagine if Clerks took place in a Soviet bathroom with war criminals on shrooms. That's the vibe of the movie. But anyway, a quick warning for major spoilers ahead. If you want to watch this movie for yourself, you can do so on YouTube. I don't know how, but it's there. That being said, let's jump right into The Green Elephant. So, these guys are hanging out in their filthy little cell. There's a leaking sewer pipe running through it, and the walls are painted in a gross green color. One of the officers is nicknamed Nutcase, and is trying to be a good sport about it by making conversation with his other cellmate, nicknamed Bro. However, he doesn't seem to have any of it and wants Nutcase to sit down and shut up. This doesn't really affect Nutcase, as he continues to banter about various topics that devolve into very personal stuff that you wouldn't normally discuss with strangers. Bro, on the other hand, is still annoyed by his cellmate but starts asking questions to clarify some of the nonsense that Nutcase is spouting. It's like the insanity is contagious, and he can't resist getting swept up in his cellmate's unraveling mind. Basically, the whole first half of the movie is them being stuck in their cell, just chatting away. And while it seems boring enough, it's actually quite entertaining. The dynamic between these two characters is great and provides some funny dialogue. Like at some point of the movie, Nutcase begins to tell a story about the time he shat into someone's shoes while he was serving in the army. The other guys found out it was him because they stripped him naked and there were pieces of shit stuck to his ass which smelled like the feces in the guy's shoe. As revenge, they planned to sodomize Nutcase, but he began screaming so hard that they spared him but made him eat his own shit. To which Bro asks if he liked the taste of shit. Like, who in their right mind would tell such a story to a complete stranger? And what was the reaction that he was expecting? Finally, after some time, Bro finally snaps and beats up Nutcase to make him quiet. And I gotta say, my one big criticism of the movie is that the beatings that take place in it don't feel realistic. They draw me out of the experience a bit, as the actors amateurishly imitate punching, stopping right before the actual impact of the hit. But I guess it's to be expected. This movie had no budget and seemingly no script. Apparently the whole movie is improvisation for which the actors did not rehearse at all, and only the director was there to correct improvisational flows. Another thing I'd like to add is the camera. If you haven't noticed already, this movie is shot like it's found footage, and it gives the illusion that there's someone else there besides the two officers. But that's incorrect. Even if you can spot the producer's shadow, hand, laughter, and even his cell phone going off, there's no one there. Or at least they didn't intend to make it seem like there was. Still though, as janky as the camera looks, it helps with creating this grimy atmosphere. And regarding the beatings, the camera sort of helps with this issue as well. Most of the beatings take place off screen, crudely zoomed in, or the characters are turned away from it entirely. It kind of reminds me of the movie Hate Crime, and how violence was handled there, with most of the disturbing stuff happening off screen, leaving a lot of it to the viewer's imagination. Anyway, so bro beats up Nutcase, but in turn, a prison guard comes in and takes him to clean the toilet with a fork as punishment. Yes, a fucking fork of all things. Bro then begins to spit in the shit-soaked broken toilet and wipe it with the fork, and it's just disgusting. After doing a poor job at it, the guard takes bro back to his cell where both officers are ready to call it a day. Nutcase is his go-lucky self again and sings the Green Elephant song while bro seems like he's in a complete pit of despair. This time, instead of yelling or beating Nutcase, he just begs him to stay silent so he can sleep. And sleep they do. But things don't stay peaceful for long because we're about to find out why Nutcase is nicknamed like that. As he wakes up in the morning, he notices that bro is still sleeping, so he takes the opportunity to take the only plate that they have and defecate in it. Don't worry though, it's actually a delicious snack that only looks like poo. He eats some, smears some on himself, and wakes up bro to offer him as well. But obviously, bro is outraged and starts screaming at Nutcase, who finally starts showing signs of insanity, implying that he's either going crazy or just is crazy, saying that it's not shit but sweetbread, and that he wanted to do a good thing because they aren't being fed here. This is also the most iconic scene of the movie, as there's quite a good amount of memes that reference it.
Two junior officers are put in the Lego City guardhouse, build a comfortable cell and punish the military criminals.
After making so much noise, the guard comes in and takes bro to go clean the toilets again. Then, the captain shows up to the cell and starts giving Nutcase a lecture about the Asian Pacific War. He asks questions about it and humiliates Nutcase for answering wrongly. The prison guard comes back with a captain's tea, but he doesn't like it and spills it on the guard's head. He humiliates the guard for a bit and then lets him beat the shit out of Nutcase as well, which is interesting because they're both the prison staff, but the captain treats the guard as if he's one of the prisoners. The guard only brought the tea, he didn't make it, yet the captain still spills it on his head and puts it in his mouth. More on that later. Oh, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but throughout the film, it randomly cuts to scenes of the guard mostly walking around and repeating the same lines. There's also one significant scene where he eats and criticizes the Russian military. I really don't know what's the purpose of these scenes, but it gives that nice art house touch. It kind of reminds me of the Joan of Arc movie from Clone High.
Whisper, whisper, hush, hush. Now you know the truth about how I feel.
Yeah.
Finally, after excruciating 57 minutes of the movie, our protagonists are brought to the basement where they are put into a pit. The guard acts as a stool for the captain to get onto a podium. The guard climbs on top of it as well, but the captain isn't pleased with the man being there and jokes about executing him. Which, in response, the guard pees his pants and makes the captain even more angry, making the guard dance like a monkey for him. He also orders the prisoners to sing to accompany the dancing. The captain makes them go faster, and faster, and faster, until Nutcase has a visible breakdown and Bro tries to calm him down. But even Bro can't handle the pressure and starts lashing out at Nutcase. Before long, the captain sits next to them and starts asking more war-related questions. Nutcase is staying silent this time and looks like he's disoriented, while Bro is on the verge of tears. The captain then asks if they're hungry, and Bro immediately responds to it, but the captain wants something in return, an oral favor. To which Bro refuses and begs that Nutcase is the one to do it. Which, I don't know about you, but I certainly wouldn't want someone who just ate shit to give me a BJ. But that doesn't matter because the captain forces himself onto Nutcase while Bro holds his head. It's very passionate and romantic, but this is the ultimate breaking point for Bro as he takes the captain and drags him on the floor, beats him with the pipe, bites chunks of his face and neck, rips his clothes off and sodomizes a dead body in front of Nutcase. He then takes the pocket knife from the ripped clothes and uses it to slit the captain's stomach. He then proceeds to take out the organs out, and if that wasn't enough, he also tears out the trachea from the captain's neck. I'd like to add that the blood here is real and was brought from a slaughterhouse, so the fact that they smear it all over themselves and put it in their mouths is some serious dedication, but nonetheless fucking disgusting. The organs that are ripped out also look quite realistic, so although I'm not sure, I believe these are real and were brought from the same slaughterhouse. Anyway, Bro comes back to Nutcase, who seems happy to see him but is clearly delusional. Bro paints his head with blood and puts the trachea in his mouth. He then makes Nutcase blow it, pretending like it's an elephant's trunk. Before long, Bro finally snaps back, and upon realizing that he killed a human being, he decides to end his own life using a knife to stab his arm. Bro dies from blood loss. Nutcase crawls out of the pit and notices that Bro is dead. This makes him really emotional as he mourns his body by washing his feet. Then we're shown a shot of birds flying in a red background, which I can only think that it symbolizes Bro finally finding peace. But that is quickly interrupted as we snap back to reality and the guard comes back, who wasn't present when Bro killed the captain for some reason. He picks up Nutcase and drags him with him, claiming to be a colonel and that they're going to a parade. He says some cryptic bullshit to Nutcase before showing his uniform to confirm that he is indeed the colonel. With that, he stands on the chair and puts a noose around his neck. Nutcase pushes the chair away and the guard is hung. I'd like to stop here and quickly point out that this scene is real and that the actor actually hung himself. According to Mavromanti, the film's producer, the actor was barely brought back to life after filming the scene. Which again, serious dedication and balls, but was that really necessary? I mean, I can think of multiple ways to make this scene without hanging the actor. But you know what? Whatever, let's just finish this goddamn movie. After the death of the guard, the body is lowered, and in the final moments of the film, Nutcase plays with it while singing the Green Elephant song before falling asleep. Then the film ends. So what the hell did we just watch? Well, the movie is open to interpretation, but the themes of prison abuse, patriotism, and mocking the Russian military are very prevalent here. According to Boskova, the film, in a certain sense, was conceived as a protest against the Second Chechen War. And if you take a look at the time that this movie was made, the state of military and civilian detention facilities in Russia was alarming, with systematic abuses and neglect prevalent across the board. While specific details about military prisons are limited, the broader military environment was characterized by systemic abuse. A prevalent issue was Denovshchina, a brutal hazing practice where senior conscripts abuse juniors. Apparently, this phenomenon is so big in Russia that they even made a name for it. This often led to severe physical and psychological harm, and in some cases death. For instance, back when my home country was invaded by the Soviet Union, on February 23, 1987, a Lithuanian private, Artūras Sakalauskas, shot and killed 5 fellow soldiers, as well as the guard chief, his assistant, and the train conductor. The driving force behind this incident was revenge after the Russian troops nearly raped a man. And this is just one example out of many more. In fact, Denovshchina is still staying strong to this day, which in a weird way is a good thing because it keeps the military weaker while it's fighting Ukraine. Oh, and one little fun fact while I was researching. One of the hazing practices in the Soviet army is called the elephant. It's where a victim puts on a gas mask with a trunk-like tube and the abuser seals off the other end, cutting off the air supply. The victim will then be forced to sing patriotic songs or do physical exercises until they pass out. When the victim takes off their mask and takes their first breath, the abuser will punch them in the solar plexus. Fun, isn't it? In conclusion, The Green Elephant is a profound movie which is still relevant today. It's unlike anything made in Russia at the time, and it's no surprise that it got banned in its home country and Belarus. I respect the director's decision to go with such a risky idea, especially being in a country that she is. However, the movie isn't without its flaws. It's poorly cut together, one scene is missing audio, in another scene you can see the producer's hand, in another you can hear him laughing, and the scenes where the characters beat each other don't feel realistic. That said, I still think the actors did a fantastic job considering they weren't paid. All the lines and actions in the film are improvised and feel natural, even funny to some extent. And for the scenes where they had to smear and drink actual animal blood or hanging oneself, I gotta hand it to them, that takes some crazy determination. All this is amplified by the amateurish shooting of the movie. At times it feels like you're not so much watching a film but rather enduring a live leak video. And strangely, it works to the movie's benefit. So what do I think about the movie? I liked it, though there are some scenes that are hard to sit through, mostly because the characters tend to linger on the same subject for too long. But that's the thing, this movie wasn't made to comfort you. Every decision in the movie, even the janky ones, are purely intentional. It processes trauma through grotesque satire and transgression, reflecting a desire to confront taboo truths ignored by the mainstream narratives. The film's surreal, and its violence and humiliation echo the absurdity of the post-Soviet disillusionment, where old ideological structures collapsed but were not replaced with meaning or stability. So, if you're into extreme cinema, black humor, or avant-garde filmmaking, definitely give this one a watch. Anyway, have you seen The Green Elephant, and are you okay? Drop your post-viewing existential crisis in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this descent into madness, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more reviews of movies that ruin my mental health for your entertainment. Till next time, peace out.